The following is an AI-based parody created for satire and entertainment purposes. All voices, conversations, and scenarios are artificially generated and do not represent the opinions, actions, or voices of any individuals represented. This content is not meant to confuse or misinform.
Come on, man, I really don't want to do the collector vessel.
Joe, I've started recording. Stop complaining. You're doing the collector vessel mission.
The viewers had very little faith in you. 4 deaths, 5 or more deaths. I saw someone say 27 deaths. They really clocking you for being dog shit at the game.
Why do I have to suffer for your enjoyment?
Because it's really funny.
Because it's what you deserve.
Also, I guess we forgot to turn this side quest in.
Getting fed by spoon from another grown man has to be a massive aura reduction.
I did not like the way Rupert smiled when he fed us.
It's based on an Asari recipe. Seems a little cannibalistic to me with their tentacle heads and all, but...
Asari do not have tentacles. Their heads are semi-flexible, cartilage-based scalp crests. They do not flop around.
Shut up, nerd.
I don't care what you or Lee are, says they're tentacles, and that's that.
Whatever. It's time for us to pick up our first 2 loyalty missions.
So not only do I have to do the collector vessel, I have to do Miranda's mid-ass loyalty mission.
It's not that bad. Besides, it's good character development for our Ice Queen.
You think anything involving Miranda is good?
I don't like Miranda's mission, but anything that lets me stare at her is a welcome.
You remember what I told you about father building a dynasty?
Yes, Miranda, we know. You're genetically engineered, your daddy is a narcissist, and Henry Lawson might actually be Donald.
For crying out loud, I am not Henry Lawson just because I set money aside for Cerberus.
A likely story.
You know what? I don't like the implication of Donald being Henry Lawson. Let's move on from that bit.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Nothing, Joe. It doesn't matter.
If I were Henry, not saying I am, then that means Miranda is technically a female clone based on my DNA. And that means Barack has been simping for what is essentially a gender-bent version of myself.
You know, I hadn't thought of that.
I know my voice sounds calm right now, but I want you to know how angry I am with you for putting that image in my head.
I don't know, Barry. I think a gender bend of Donald would be quite the catch.
That's actually very nice of you. I might actually feel a little bad when you die a dozen times later on.
I'd sooner stick my dick into an industrial fan than occupy the same space as a female Donald Trump.
Wow, Barack, I guess we're really not boys. A real bro would totally hit me up if I were a woman.
My boy, if the only way we're homies is if I'd sleep with a female version of you, then we're nothing more than acquaintances.
Well, don't worry, I got you, Donald.
Thanks, Joe. I guess we finally learned which Democrat is a real one.
The 2 of you will be at each other's throats again in no time.
What do you need me to do? Commander.
Can't we just ignore Jacob and help a far better squad mate?
I'll co-sign that one. Hell, I'd rather go talk to the bird.
We've been over this. Jacob's loyalty mission is actually pretty good compared to some of the other ones.
That doesn't mean we have to do it.
Joe, if you skip Jacob's mission, you're going to be missing out on some vital experience for the trials you're sure to face later
Well, I
on.
got pinged by a ghost the other night. Family.
Oh boy, another family issue.
Half the damn squad mates either come from a broken home
My father
or are
was first
responsible for a
officer on
broken
ship
home.
that went missing 10 years ago. I had not talked to him for 3 years prior.
Is it too much to ask that someone in this game have a decent relationship with both their parents?
Well, to our knowledge, Ashley and Caden had pretty good relationships with their fathers before they died.
Okay, but does anyone have a father they love who isn't also past tense?
Garrus and his father might have disagreed on right and wrong, but they clearly love each other.
It's like that Metalocalypse scene where Nathan talks about how he fucking loves his dad.
Coordinates aren't too far out of our way. I could at least verify the wreck. Do you need something?
Bro is just staring at the window. Doesn't he have any hobbies besides catching bodies?
Drell have perfect memories. Thane might look like he's staring at nothing when we see him, but he's probably losing himself in his memories.
You don't have to worry about the rest of the crew.
Well, good. No one has to worry about getting any weird frog diseases from him.
The only disease we have to worry about is scale itch, and I'm willing to bet money Kelly is responsible for it getting on the Normandy.
Hey, Donald, do you know how you keep calling Thane a frog?
Time I spend in
Well, Drell are classified as reptiles, so you should be calling him a lizard or something.
Doesn't Elias Kellum call him a frog?
Elias Kellum is hardly the foremost expert on aliens.
Well, I'm going to keep calling him a frog because I think it's funny.
Exactly is the problem.
My people are native to an arid world. Most of us now live on Kaje, the Hanar homeworld.
We don't really talk enough about how screwed the Drell are as a species. They don't have their own planet, and the one they live on isn't compatible with their biology. They might have it worse than the Quarians.
There is a domed city on Kaji called Cinedaria that the Drell can live on without succumbing to Kepral syndrome. Unfortunately, however, the place is a crime-infested slum, according to a Drell known as Annex Therian, who comes from the Mass Effect Annihilation novel.
I don't believe my body will still draw breath by the time it bears fruit.
Then don't live on Kaji, or use breathers.
Or wear exosuits like the Quarians.
With the Hanar. We rely on each other.
I'm sorry, but what exactly was Thane meaning here?
The Hanar used the Drell as assassins, and most likely aren't too fond of the idea of them leaving Kaji.
Normandy has a state-of-the-art.
And I guess Thane is trying to say they don't want to wear breathers or exosuits because it puts a barrier of separation between his people and the Hanar.
So they'd rather risk a slow death? Wild stuff.
Thank you for your concern.
Shepard.
Mommy.
Oh, God.
Donald, don't you start that again. We're not ordering food to placate you this time.
Relax, now that I know Samara is an impossibility, I can control myself.
You know, if Samara is off the table, you could always go for Morinth.
Wait, you're on to something, Barak. Morinth looks the same and can do a perfect Samara impersonation.
Yeah, and if you sleep with her, we'll fucking die.
I can think of a long list of way worse ways to go out.
I don't know. I've seen the scene where Shepard romances Morinth, and it definitely doesn't look like having your nervous system seized by an Ardat Yakshi is all that enjoyable.
You're just boring, that's all?
Pure fiction, of course.
I'm sure the Justicar cartoons didn't show all the murder they like to engage in.
So few Justicars exist that most have never met one.
As far as we know, there are only 4 individuals who are either Justicars or are former Justicars. Samara, of course, and there's also the Asari known as Fora, who was responsible for delivering Ardat Yakshi to the Lysis monastery. The 2 former Justicars are a lady known as Tristana, who was a member of a mercenary band Zaid ran with, and the Asari duelist from Mass Effect Andromeda's multiplayer was also called a former Justicar.
Deeply personal matter.
What role do you think Justicars have in Asari society?
I would say that the closest human equivalent is a knight errant.
Crazy Samara knows so much human lore.
Damn, I just realized when Samara was born, humanity was in the Middle Ages or something.
Samara is nearly 1,000 years old. Even if we lowball it and say she's only 900 right now, that still puts her year of birth in the 13th century. Europe hadn't even gone through the Black Death plague yet.
One of the coolest things about Mass Effect is how much of the galaxy's events take place when we haven't even finished exploring our own planet.
Facts. For example, Morinth herself is older than the United States. The Asari find the Citadel in 580 BCE, which is before Pompeii was founded. The Geth War began in 1895, 1 year before Henry Ford builds his first automobile.
We were kind of late to the party.
If we'd been just a little later, we might have been the top dogs in the next cycle. Remember, the Reaper invasion was delayed some time prior to Mass Effect 1. If Sovereign had attempted to start the invasion before the First Contact War, humanity might have been spared a second time.
Forbid romantic involvement?
Well, what are you up to, Joe?
Oh, I'm just exhausting the dialogue. This isn't a serious question.
Interested in such. That part of my life is well behind me.
Are you sure?
You could meet someone who reawakens those desires.
I am nearly 1,000 years old. I know myself.
Well, there's nothing wrong with teaching an old dog new tricks.
That is not how that saying goes at all.
I should go.
No goddamn way is this another Quarian on their pilgrimage who needs us to help them out of a tight situation.
Tali muses some time later on about Quarians who don't return home because they like life away from the migrant fleet. But at this point, I'm starting to wonder if they just fucking died or got arrested for some reason.
Why the hell don't all these clowns just spend their pilgrimage together? The kid from Omega and the girl from the Citadel could have joined up with this one here.
It is what it is. Let's just help this one out.
And her servitude contract is completely legal on Ilium. If you actually want to help the Quarian, convince the Synthetic Insights representative...
Another sorry telling us to speak to a Synthetic Insights rep?
Ilium really is the terminus version of Noveria, it seems.
I could let her go and everyone would be happy.
A gallant offer with 3 problems. First, her technical skill merits a contract of several 100,000 credits.
I mean, we can get several 100,000 credits pretty easily. Let me just open the Trilogy save editor.
Don't you dare.
We steal most of the damn money we make in this game anyway. Besides, don't pretend you're not going to just give us the necessary materials for all the upgrades for the suicide mission.
Yes, but I'm going to do that at the end of the game. I'm not going to do it halfway through the game, so we're overpowered too early.
I wish you would for my sake.
Good with numbers, and I thought I had a way to make unlimited money. I lost everything.
Homegirl tried to buy the dip and it never stopped dipping.
Let me let you in on a little secret. By the time you're hearing about it on fucking Reddit, the time to buy has long passed.
5 years from now, she'll have a fresh start and excellent work references.
The Asari gets a bad reputation for trying to dance around the idea of enslaving this girl, but she does seem genuine in her claims to do right by this Quarian.
It definitely doesn't help that the damn subtitles didn't even give her a name, just slave broker.
Described, the burden of proof would be on me. No system is perfect, but safeguards are set up to protect all parties.
Ah, so it's ethical slavery, got it?
If slavery is legal, then why are you trying to sell the Quarian?
I don't keep service contracts myself. I'm a contract broker. I assumed Synthetic Insights would jump at the chance for a skilled AI tech. But
Why in the f would anyone want public record of hiring an AI tech when AI research is illegal in the Milky Way?
Actually, Synthetic Insights is one of the few corporations that are licensed by the Council to develop artificial intelligence.
So when the council do it, it's fine, but when the Quarians do, it's uncool.
To be fair, none of the Council races lost their planets and colonies to any AI they've created.
So, what happened?
It's also worth pointing out that humanity almost got heavily sanctioned for being caught developing AI in Mass Effect Revelations. Thankfully, former human ambassador Anita Goyle managed to talk the Council down.
So slavery is legal on Ilium?
indentured servitude.
The hell is the difference?
One sounds less messed up than the other.
I guess if we really want to get into the weeds here, indentured servants were technically only made to work for the duration of their contract, or until their debts were paid, while slaves were slaves for life. Neither were paid with money, but indentured servants were treated better. Still, both are generally subjected to harsh conditions.
Well, I don't care how ethical one is. I'm getting this Quarian out of this situation.
All right, but this is the last time we help a Quarian on their pilgrimage. These kids need to learn how to not get themselves into trouble.
I know a slaver who'd like to sell you the service.
Shepard maintaining that the Asari is still a slaver is pretty funny.
Synthetic Insights has no interest in purchasing slave labor.
Would you considering hiring me as your personal slave then?
Jesus Christ, Donald.
He's been holding back, but Bro is finally becoming completely unhinged about the Asari again.
The attack on the Citadel didn't engender much love for artificial intelligence.
What's it going to be, Joe?
Hey, this Synthetic Insights rep doesn't deserve the smoke. The slaver, on the other hand, does.
As long as you pick a renegade outcome, I don't care.
I'd appreciate that.
They say that they can't take the Quarian.
I'm sorry.
Please, this is not your fault.
This is what she deserves for thinking she could cheat the stock market.
Oh, please, you probably do it all the time.
And you don't?
None of us have our hands clean on this matter. Relax.
No, I'm a good slaver. Garbage was just an act.
I am still exploring options.
The only option worth exploring is letting the girl go.
You took a bet and you lost.
I can't just call it all a loss. That plus the early emancipation fees, you have no idea how much money I
It sucks to suck. Sometimes you take a gamble and lose money.
Promised.
The guilt tripping is crazy.
I think she's being genuine here, but I like to imagine she's a really good actor in playing it up.
Messed up part is you can't even see her face to see if she's bullshitting.
You would endanger your health. I can't risk that.
Well, she sounds genuinely sincere about this.
Well, what's the lesson here?
Not to play the stock market.
Trouble this time.
Damn it. Eclipse mercenary gunships.
It's a good thing they're not blasting us down right now.
I'm thinking having Henry Lawson's daughter with us is keeping us safe.
And once again, we've got a whole lot of mercenary activity going on here, and there's no law enforcement.
I'm just going to guess local law enforcement and Ilium have an understanding to stay out of each other's way.
They probably don't want to go into all-out war with one of Omega's big three merc groups.
I don't see Shepard and company chickening out.
You can't just compare some cops to Shepard and his team of the best experts in the galaxy.
These Eclipse motherfuckers don't know what they're in for. If Shepard doesn't scare them, then the psychotic biotic will.
The psychotic biotic over there is probably going to drop dead the moment anyone breathes on her.
I don't think this sky car belongs to us. Why did we just crash it into the ground?
Bud, you look like one of the default Shepard templates. You definitely don't got this.
Since you're not firing yet, I trust you know who I am.
More to the point, doesn't this guy know who we are?
At this point, there's no way the Eclipse organization hasn't clued into Shepard obliterating their troops and leaders bit by
This
bit.
doesn't involve you. I suggest you take your men and go.
Think you've got it all lined up, huh?
Yes, stand still. I'll line my gun up with your billboard-ass forehead.
Damn, what's come over you, Joe? Where's this smoke coming from?
If I have to play the collector vessel mission, then I'm going to use this opportunity to lock in. I will prove both you bastards and all the viewers wrong on this day.
You haven't locked in about anything since 2008 at best.
I don't know, looking into Joe's eyes, I can see he's a bit different today. Maybe he'll get things done.
I didn't even take any medicine today. I'm natty.
Yeah, that's Cap. Let's do a drug test right now.
Donald, I'm not going to piss into a cup every time I have to interact with you.
This whole time we've been talking, my men have been lining up shots.
If this guy were smart, he would have just opened fire instead of warning us.
This is a mandatory renegade action here, Joe.
You don't got to tell me twice.
I just noticed Shepard broke that guy's neck.
Am I crazy, or is Jack not firing her gun?
I mean, it checks out. We brought Jack to help Miranda. No surprise she would fake participating.
Holy shit, he remembered to turn the tech armor on at the start of the combat without being told.
Thank God. If this were a repeat of episode 2, I think I'd just give up and leave.
I told you guys I'm locked in. You're not dealing with the average president warrior anymore.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. You always fizzle out sooner or later.
I don't know where we are with upgrades and levels. It'd be pretty hard for Joe to fuck up as badly as he did the last time he played.
Maybe not on Miranda's loyalty mission. We could probably wheel Jimmy Carter in and he'd be able to play it too.
Gotcha.
But the collector vessel, nah, Joe is getting eaten up.
You know what, Donald? How much you want to bet I cleared the collector vessel without dying?
Joe, I love your confidence, man, but Donald could wring you dry without it even being a risk to his wallet.
Quiet, Barack. He's a big boy. Let him fight his own battles, even if they're incredibly stupid.
So how about it, a friendly wager between gentlemen, Donald?
All right, I'm game. If you die even one time on the collector vessel mission, you have to pay all my legal fees going forward.
Joe, I am seriously urging you to not do this.
It's a deal. If I don't die at all, then you have to exit the competition for who we're going to romance. It'll be between Barry and I.
Wait, that's seriously all you want?
Yep, I'm very serious about romancing Jack, and I don't need you complicating things. I can handle Barry and his obsession with Miranda.
Oh, you think you can get in my way, do you? I don't know what happened to you between now and the last episode, but you're getting a wee bit too confident, my boy.
Well, I guess if that's all you want, I got no problem. Especially since I know you're going to fail. It's a deal, Joey boy.
This is going to be an interesting development.
And I'm already off to a good start, baby.
Yeah, sure, I'll be waiting to pounce the moment you falter.
Lord have mercy.
You okay, Barry?
Shepard knows exactly where his eyes should be at.
Now, I see why you wanted me to swap Miranda out of her alternative outfit, you dogs.
I make no apologies for being down bad.
I can explain. I had you swap Miranda's outfit so a joke later on in the mission hits better.
Sure, whatever you say.
Grew her when I was a teenager.
I can understand choosing to go your own way, but you stole a young child from her father.
If you knew my father, you would understand. I wasn't the first one he made. I was only the first one he kept.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me there's probably dozens of other Mirandas out there?
I guess that depends on what Henry did with the others after he realized they weren't perfect. Did he just put them up for adoption, or did he scrap them, to put things lightly?
Kind of interesting how similar Grunt's and Miranda's stories are.
Genetically engineered to be perfect by fathers who wanted to make a mark on history.
Yeah, except O'Keefe actually built Grunt up using the lineages of Elite Krogan, while Henry used his own mid-ass DNA to make Miranda. Make no mistake, Miranda isn't amazing because she's distilled from Henry. She's amazing in spite of that.
Surprisingly deep take from you, Donald.
I told you guys before, there's more to me than just being a rabid horn dog.
Yeah, let's see you extend some of that deep philosophical thinking to any of the male squad mates.
I hope your friend can be trusted.
He can't.
Absolutely. Niket is one of my oldest friends.
Interesting how Miranda doesn't for one second think that Niket might be compromised.
Just goes to show how perfect Miranda isn't. Her one flaw is not being able to see the worst in people she trusts and getting too attached. As you know, breaking up with Miranda in Mass Effect 3 can have some unfortunate results.
He won't betray me now.
So far, so good, Joe.
Not so good for Jack, though.
And there she goes, Subject Zero, the psychotic biotic, already getting clapped.
Come on, Jack is hardly the only squad mate to die in a battle.
Yeah, but she is the only one we saw solo 4 heavy mechs and rampage through a space station. For her to be dying so easily is absurd.
Okay, that just means she's a glass cannon.
Except she's not. Aside from being able to equip shotguns and unlocking warp ammo, Jack doesn't have any real damaging abilities.
She's the only squad mate who gets shotguns and doesn't have a defensive power.
I guess they could have given Jack barrier instead of giving that to Jacob.
Agreed, plus Jack wouldn't actually forget to use it, unlike Taylor.
The more I think about it, the less her moveset makes sense. Even from a crowd control point of view, you'd be better off using Samara, who gets both pull and throw, plus Reeves, which is one of the best powers.
Yeah, no lie, this is probably the last time we're pulling Jack in for anything aside from her own loyalty mission.
Well, that's not very nice. Jack deserves time to shine.
If you want to take her on the collector vessel, by all means, go ahead. You're the one who's going to suffer because of it.
The fact that you've left Jack knocked out for the rest of this battle while Miranda carries you is proof enough that she's kind of bad in gameplay.
To be honest, I completely forgot to revive her.
Damn, I guess you don't love her that much after all?
Is this motherfucker hitting me through the crate?
I mean, to be fair, that was pretty realistic. Your head was in direct line of sight of his gun.
Well, here's what I think of this guy and his realism.
Keep the bitch back. The kid is nearing the transport terminal. I'll kill you all.
Whoa, holy shit.
Damn, Jack. Nice trick shot.
She heard you guys bad-mouthing her and said, all right, bet.
Well, it sounds like she's having a hard time now.
And there she goes again. What a fucking fraud.
Looks like Jack is the one we need to start keeping a death count for this episode. She's trying to beat Joe's record.
It's her first time out since we recruited her, too. This is embarrassing. Meanwhile, the cheerleader over there has been putting in work the whole mission.
I should hope so. This is Miranda's loyalty mission, after all.
And now her body is glitching out.
Between Jack not firing her gun in that cutscene earlier, and now her repeated deaths, we might need to report her for gameplay sabotage.
Checks out. We know she doesn't like Miranda. She's probably trying to slow us down so her sister gets taken.
All right, the two of you have been clowning on my girl a bit too much. Lay off.
Joe, you're standing up for Jack more than you do yourself.
I'll stop clowning her when she locks the fuck in. At least Miranda and Samara can pull their weight in combat.
Maybe the captain knows we're listening in, and she's feeding misinformation about Niket making a switch.
Wake up to reality, Miranda. Your boy betrayed you.
Or maybe it means something else.
What else could it possibly mean?
Niket wouldn't do that. Damn it, why won't this thing go any faster?
Miranda, I love you, sweetheart, but if you f this elevator up and we either get stuck or it starts falling, we're going to have a problem.
He could have turned on me when I ran away. I'm sure my father tried to buy him off. If he didn't do it then, why would he do it now?
Did Niket know that you took Oriana from your father?
No, he just found out about that recently.
Well, I wonder what could have possibly changed about your situation with him.
Credit for a super genius who was able to undo death, Miranda isn't all too smart.
Well, you can be very intelligent, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily wise.
The message on the radio seemed pretty clear.
He wouldn't betray me. We'll be at the transport shuttle in a moment and we'll clear this up.
And here's our answer.
Holy hell, that Asari is packing a claymore.
She's not just here to collect money, but bodies too.
What the hell did that lady do?
That was the weakest claymore shot I've seen.
The way she flew was pretty funny, though.
Not many civilians around. We can end this here and now.
Damn, Joe, you're ruthless today.
Bro, as a traitor, what do you expect?
You were my friend. You helped me get away from my father.
Yes, because you wanted to leave. That was your choice. But if I'd known that you'd stolen a baby...
I didn't steal her. I rescued her.
From a life of wealth and happiness? You weren't
Yikes, this take from Niket is not going to age well when we get to Mass Effect 3.
Come on, I think Henry Lawson would make a wonderful father to Oriana.
Yep, I'm sure he'd get her everything she'd want. Toys, cars, and Reaper indoctrination. You know, everything a young lady needs to have a fulfilling life.
No trauma to the family.
Bro, you employed a mercenary group to steal a 19-year-old girl away from her family. How do you not cause trauma doing that?
I called them back that night.
Why didn't you call me, Niket? We've been through a lot. You could have at least let me explain.
Why didn't she explain to begin with? Considering this is the one guy Miranda trusted, she sure did leave out some crucial information, like Henry Lawson being a total demon.
How much did Miranda's father pay you?
A great deal.
Never mind, his actions are completely valid.
Money is really more important than loyalty?
That depends. How big of a bag are we talking here?
That's why he bought me.
So you just took his money.
Don't get holy with me, Miri. You took his money for years.
She was his daughter. Her taking his money isn't the same thing as you taking it.
But kidnapping a kid?
I'm not stealing her. I'm rescuing her.
In Yala, we all know you're all here just to get paid and dip.
Take your best shot.
I was just waiting for you to finish getting dressed.
Oh, damn, she ate.
Cerberus really let you whore around in that outfit.
I like her. Are we still recruiting?
And that's why we brought Jack here.
Jack's body is covered in more tattoos than it is clothing. Like, she isn't even wearing a top, just some fucking straps.
Jack has been a straight demon this episode. First she pretends to fire her gun at the enemy, then she throws into combat twice. And now she's being toxic in the chat. We gotta stop this girl.
You don't know what my father wants for her.
Miranda, you could try explaining the kind of man Henry is, instead of just alluding to it.
He wants to take a girl away from the only family she's ever known. Doesn't that tell you what he really is?
All right, that's enough yapping. It's time to get this over with.
If Niket knows about Oriana, then your father does too. Relocating her won't work.
Miranda's father has no information about Oriana.
Wait, does that mean Henry Lawson paid him before getting the information? What a dumbass.
So I kept it private. I'm the only one who knows.
Which means that you're the only loose end.
Your move, Joe.
This isn't how I wanted it to end.
I don't see any point in sparing him.
I'm going to miss you.
That's what I like to fucking see.
Well, Niket wouldn't have gotten a chance to spend the money he got from Henry Lawson regardless.
Was that stasis? Since when can Miranda do that?
Little bit of lore and gameplay inconsistency. Technically, there's no reason Miranda wouldn't be able to lift someone up like that. But for gameplay purposes, she's limited to just the biotic warp.
Would biotics be better or worse in game if they were lore accurate?
Depends. In the novels, biotics seem to be a lot stronger. Singularity is more than just a little gravity field that makes people float around. It's described as a break in the space-time continuum or something like that. At the same time, though, biotics take some charge-up time, and the cooling-off period isn't short.
If they were lore accurate, Jack would have soloed this room already.
And that's 3 deaths for the Hairless One. She's trying to beat your record for deaths in a single episode, Joe.
Leave Jack alone, Donald, and don't call her hairless.
Look at her laid out on the fucking floor. Lower accurate biotics is pure cope.
Not gonna lie, Jack's performance is starting to make me think she's the one who's in danger during her argument with Miranda.
Okay, well, that's enough talking because Miranda just died too.
You're next if you don't revive them.
Fine, here.
I'm convinced the only reason you haven't died on this mission is because you've transferred your poor skill to the NPCs.
Or maybe I've gotten a little better at the game, perhaps?
Completely fucking impossible.
You're being too hard on him, Donald. Joe has been performing well, or at least he isn't making the same mistakes he was in episode 2. He's activating tech armor and not letting himself be flanked by anything.
The improvements he's made are coming strictly from all the upgrades and experience we got in our episodes.
By that logic, the only one of us who has any excuse for struggling is Barry, since he played episode 1 without anything at all.
Besides, research upgrades and experience points wouldn't make Joe's game sense improve. I don't know how he did it, but he's genuinely gotten better.
I told you guys Mass Effect 2 was my game.
Yeah, this is straight, Cap. Let me look at your pupils. I know you're zooted off something right now.
The fact you think I'm doping is all the proof I need to know I'm doing good.
Yeah, I guess drugs really don't do anything for you, given how tired you were during the debate.
Even half asleep, I still clapped your fat ass for the entire country to see.
The only thing that's clapped is your mental acuity, old man.
You are literally as old as I am.
Neither of you should be bragging about that debate. Most embarrassing shit I've seen in all my days.
Yeah, f*** you, Barry.
Easy to talk shit when you're not in the race.
The only reason I didn't run for a third time is because I legally can't, and because Michelle would probably leave me.
Talk about excuses.
Donald, I would happily debate you for fun, just to prove a point.
Donald, I wouldn't. I don't think either of us wants that smoke.
I think the combat is over. Good job, Joe.
No shot he actually completed a full mission without dying.
I told you I've improved. Spent some time in the hyperbolic time chamber.
Well, whatever. It's just Miranda's loyalty mission. The collector vessel will get you.
You sound a little nervous there, Donald.
Hold on a second. I might be wrong. But I'm almost certain Miranda is supposed to have some dialogue here and the battle music is supposed to stop. The gang seems to think you're still in combat, Joe.
Why is the door still red?
There's an enemy on the radar. You missed someone.
Where the f*** are they?
Now, this is what I like to see. You're going to have to reload.
I am not reloading. My performance was perfect. I can't do that again.
Joe, you're not going to find them. They're off the map.
What in the fucking malarkey is this?
Damn, bro, brought out the M word.
Crashing out isn't going to fix this, Joe. You need to reload.
I don't want to fucking reload. I won. I completed my objective. I should be allowed to progress.
Sometimes we don't get the things we want. Cry about it.
Joe, reload. It's over. You got to do it again.
This is such fucking bullshit.
Honestly, what the hell even happened there anyway?
If I had to guess, either Jack knocked an enemy out of bounds without killing them using her shockwave, or one of those explosions caused it instead. It's always a risk when you're using biotics.
I don't care why it happened. I'm just really goddamn aggravated by it.
Relax, Joe. You did it once, and you can do it again.
If I die here, it doesn't count.
Yes, the hell it does.
I shouldn't be here again. The mission should be over. This doesn't count.
The fact that you did this the first time without dying is all the more reason it should count. Just do what you did the last time.
Bro is absolutely going to throw this. Look at him.
And there goes Miranda. I guess reloading made her worse at the game, too.
God damn it, come on.
He's definitely about to die.
Joe, man, I was glazing you earlier. You're about to make me look bad.
Joe, wake up and shoot the drone.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
That counts.
You better fucking believe it counts, bro fumbled.
This is not fair at all. We should already be back on the Normandy by now.
Well, we're not. Now do it a third time, Joe, and for the love of God, don't die again.
Or do die again? I don't care which, to be honest. My day has been made either way.
Oh, God help.
Jesus fucking Christ, Joe, are you good?
No, I'm not.
You literally had a few pixels of health left. You got lucky.
God, please let this end. My hands are starting to shake.
Bro, are we even halfway through the episode?
I think that did it, Joe.
Thank fucking Christ.
I'm gonna think you really sold on this mission just because you had to do it again.
You have no idea how demoralizing it is to get so close to completing something perfectly, just to lose it all at the very end.
Please, you're not built for that Elden Ring DLC. Crushing defeats are all I know.
I can't believe Nickette sold me out.
You live and you learn, Miranda. I hope you don't let it come between us.
Jesus Christ, Barry, you're relentless.
I respect the energy, but give the girl some time to recover from her shock. About 30 more seconds should do.
You're right, I'm being far too hasty.
But he just stood there. The only loose end. He knew what I'd have to do.
Doesn't he die no matter what?
Inaya will shoot Niket dead herself if you stop Miranda from doing it.
Kind of weird how this has no real importance on Miranda's character going forward. Sure, she's beat up about it here, but it doesn't stick.
We do kind of just forget about Niket going forward. He was a childhood friend, too.
Whatever, he's the biggest example of a nobody. Even that dude from Jack's loyalty mission had some background and significance to him.
It's always been like this. My father gave me anything I ever wanted, but there was always a hook, an angle for his long-term plan.
Isn't that the whole point of the father-daughter dynamic?
No, Donald? What the hell?
Your family's dynamic is irreversibly fucked.
Yes, says you, Joe. Your drug addict son is as much a convict as I am.
You always got to turn to my son, don't you?
Damn, I guess I'm the only one with a completely normal family.
Is your family normal? Or are the Obamas just boring?
Yeah, at least Hunter does cool shit.
By cool you mean do drugs and play with firearms.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even gonna hold you. Hunter Biden is cool as fuck. I only go after him because I need an attack angle.
Well, I guess I can respect that.
You're such a damn cuck, Joe.
Turn me into exactly what he wanted. I'm my own person. There she is. She's safe.
Well, as safe as anyone can be on Ilium, hopefully Oriana and her family don't get mixed up with the wrong Asari.
Save the waterworks for later, Miranda.
Is there any reason to not tell Miranda to go talk to her sister?
Aside from the Paragon and Renegade points, Miranda will be slightly less happy if she doesn't talk to Oriana, but she'll more or less still be satisfied with the results of the mission.
You just lost your childhood friend Miranda. You might as well go meet up with your sister.
Crazy day for Oriana's family, gotta admit. They get moved by Eclipse mercenaries, then they're rescued from that situation. And now this random woman is pulling up to tell them they're sisters with their 19-year-old girl.
Go on. We'll wait here.
Oh, damn, I forgot Jack was here for this.
I'm surprised she didn't tell Miranda to stop being a pussy or something.
So Miranda's genetically identical twin sister doesn't look anything like her.
I don't really understand why they didn't just copy-paste Miranda's model and put her in different clothes. Maybe change the hair color a little, I guess?
Well, you know how it goes. If there's a problem with the game, there's a mod that exists to fix it.
Her mom looks the exact same, but with a darker skin tone.
Whoa, tread lightly there, Joe.
Oh, fuck you. I was making an observation. Thank God no more factories or warehouses. It's time for us to touch some damn grass.
Just make sure you only touch the grass and not eat it. Last thing we need is for you to lose any more of your sharpness, Joe.
I don't think the man has anything left to lose. Joe might make the plants dumber by being around them.
If anyone's going to eat the plants, it's your hungry, hungry hippos-looking ass.
Now that's what I like to hear, Joe.
Calm down, it was only a decent jab.
Along with us anymore. We've done horrible things to the crew. The conditions they're in, they don't understand what we're doing to them. Distract them for 2 seconds and they forget what you did before the bruises show. It's got to stop. I'm talking to the others as soon as...
Well, that was unsettling.
Given what we know, that was likely one of the officers of the Gernsback realizing that forcing the crew to eat toxic food and taking advantage of them was, in fact, a bad thing to do.
Sometimes you gotta test the waters to know right from wrong.
Test the water is some wicked work, Donald.
What was her name? Sarah? Suzanne? My God, I can't remember her face.
Wow, this is hitting kind of close to home for me.
Yeah, except when you forget it's not because you ate some bad plants.
The worst part is not being able to choose what I forget, because I sure as hell would have erased you from my memory so I could remember what I ate this morning.
I love you too, dog.
Good to see you boys getting along. Damn, I forgot how chilling this one was.
Hey, sir, I'm gonna need you to have a seat right over here.
All these motherfuckers need to go under the jail.
I promise you Ronald Taylor isn't going to jail. I got something else in mind for him.
From the look of it, this beacon's been here a while.
Jacob's loyalty mission has quite a few odd inconsistencies within it.
Of course it does, even when this clown has a mission with a halfway decent plot, he manages to still get it wrong.
As I was trying to say. The most notable of these inconsistencies is the fact that the Gernsback crashed in 2175. And as some of you may know, thermal clips were a creation of the Geth, and organic arms manufacturers didn't adopt them until after the events of Mass Effect 1, sometime between 2183 and the events of Mass Effect 2. The survivors here should not have access to them.
As much as I like Mass Effect 2, even I gotta admit that the retcon around firearms and ammunition is pretty lame. It is odd that canonically battlefields all over the galaxy are littered with them, plus it's a fall hazard. Imagine being in a firefight and you fucking fall over because you stepped on a thermal clip.
All right, that'd be pretty funny. Imagine you're on the suicide mission and your biotic specialist falls over during the long walk.
That doesn't sound funny at all.
The codex entry for 2175 Aight is also kind of odd. First, it states that the Gernsback was sent to the planet in 2173, which contradicts with everything that tells us the crash occurred 10 years ago in 2175. Also, it states that Ronald Taylor was the captain of the ship, when that's only true after the actual captain, a man named Fairchild, dies in the crash.
Someone was asleep at the wheel.
Last little inconsistency is the name of the Gernsback itself. The distress call gave the Gernsback the MSV prefix, but the hull of the ship says it's the SSV Gernsback. This is a problem because the Gernsback is identified as a civilian ship and SSV is reserved for military craft, such as the SSV Normandy or SSV Einstein. Civilian ships would include the MSV Fettel, which is the ship doctor. Salion was on in Mass Effect 1.
So what you're telling me is Jacob's loyalty mission is a giant mishmash of problems in the continuity, and we probably shouldn't have put it in C tier in the mission ranking video.
I tried to tell you guys it was F tier, but would you listen?
I think the mission's plot is still pretty good in spite of all the little issues.
Scheduled suborbital descent of the Hugo Gernsback.
You came?
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
Good Lord, Donald.
He delayed for so long, but he still has power.
Why would anyone come to a planet that makes them behave like this?
The crew of the Gernsback were on their way to survey the planet, as it was identified as having lush vegetation, fresh water, and breathable air. Unfortunately, no one realized the plants made you trip the fuck out.
Kind of odd no one came looking for the ship, distress beacon or not. Someone had to notice they were missing.
We kind of already know the Alliance wasn't really all too keen on entering the Terminus systems.
Especially back in 2175, we were way too new to the galaxy and didn't have a lot of influence.
Hey, watch out.
I like how they just don't hit either of your squad mates with those shots.
The kinetic barriers would have saved them anyway.
Man, these guys don't even have body armor. This should be easy as hell.
So far, so good.
It's time for some bold action.
Oh, this ought to be good.
What the fuck is happening? I'm in cover.
You're so dead.
Man, come the fuck on. What is the cover for if people can just shoot through it?
Just like with on Miranda's loyalty mission, your head was wide open to that guy.
So much for this being an easy fight. Whatever amount of skill you had at the beginning of the episode has totally evaporated. We're back to our regular scheduled program.
Joe, I warned you not to take that bet with Donald, but you just didn't listen. I don't know why you thought this was a good idea.
He's running for president when his brain is melting into soup. He never has any good ideas.
You guys need to leave me alone. I've definitely got this under control.
If this is what your control looks like, then it's no wonder America is in the state it's in.
I'm on it.
Joe, I'm 90% sure you're being flanked.
What the fuck is Jacob's useless ass doing over there? Why isn't he on this guy?
This is a bad look.
Nope. You shouldn't have used overload back there.
This one is not on me. Why didn't Jacob cover me?
Blaming the NPCs for another death is straight cope. I've never heard anything like that before.
I don't like Jacob as much as the next guy, but that wasn't on him. You died because you used overload on that guy in a panic, instead of reapplying your tech armor.
It's a complete regression. He's letting himself get flanked, and now he's even forgotten to always prioritize activating tech armor.
Nah, man, come on. Look at the way these guys are moving. This motherfucker pulled the widest flank imaginable to come get me.
Well, whatever you do, please don't die again. This is literally only the first stretch of combat in the mission.
My only regret right now is not making you bet on not dying at all in this episode, because I'd be cleaning out your pockets.
Unlike you, I'm not dumb enough to seriously think I won't die at least one time in this game.
And that right there is why you'll always get clapped. Your mindset is weak. Even if you fail, you gotta believe it's possible.
The fact that you're using squad mate abilities makes all three of your deaths right now look painfully annoying, Joe.
I can't help it. Sometimes my mind lapses a little bit.
Okay, at this point, I think you're using your dementia to make us feel bad for clowning you.
Is it working?
Nope.
Never gonna stop, little bro.
They're clearly docile, but in the same uniform remnants as those who attacked us.
Good Lord, have they been wearing the same clothing for the past 10 years?
I'd admit these people are pretty good for living in a Lord of the Flies type situation.
This is a really fucked up rendition of Lord of the Flies.
Isn't that book kind of messed up by default?
Yes, but it's about kids governing themselves and not about a space pervert.
One of these people must know what my father has to do with this.
You have his face.
Whoa, what the hell do you mean his face?
Okay, Barack, stop taking everything as an attack.
Us to eat, to decay. You are cursed with his face.
The worst thing a girl can say is no my ass. I actually feel kind of bad for Jacob here.
I have his face. My father forced the crew to eat toxic food. What the hell?
So I'm guessing the presence of toxic food that makes you dumber than Patrick Star kind of kills any chance of colonizing this planet.
I mean, there's still fresh water here, decent atmosphere and temperature. It'd be a waste not to colonize it. Just don't eat the plants.
Somebody had to push them to make that.
For being made of a bunch of scrap metal made by people who have worse mental capacity than Joe, it's not bad. It's better than that Turian artwork we saw on Kasumi's loyalty mission.
We should string Ronald Taylor up on it and shoot it into space.
Man, you really do not like Ronald Taylor.
I hate the way that he walks, the way that he talks, and I hate the way that he dresses.
Who in the played that song for you? I know it wasn't me.
I just heard those lyrics somewhere and I've just been using them as motivation to beat Donald.
Damn, I didn't realize the beef between us was like that. I'm just in the race to avoid any charges. It's nothing personal.
Donald, I'm way too sober to believe that.
You have his face.
You know, it's crazy that they keep saying Jacob has Ronald's face, when that definitely isn't true at all.
They made specific face models for Jacob and Miranda, and then added in characters meant to be related to them, but didn't factor their appearance in.
I'm just going to assume Jacob takes after his mother, which is a good thing because it's bad enough Ronald is his dad without looking just like him.
It's a crew logbook. Some of them thought the beacon repair was taking too long. They were afraid they'd run out of supplies and lose their minds to the decay.
Which they didn't, considering they had leftover food supplies that just went bad.
Officers, so they wouldn't be affected. Everybody else had to eat the toxic food and hope for treatment later.
Okay, to be fair, that is a pretty practical decision.
A few mutinied over the decision. My father and his officers turned the mechs on them.
What about gunning down members of the crew?
Hey, it is what it is. You do what you got to do when you're in charge.
How long do you stay desperate? The numbers go up from there. More incidents, harsh punishments. It's like they're cattle or toys.
Okay, and now we're leaving the realm of practicality and into straight savagery.
Exiled or dead. They separated out the women, assigned them to officers like pets.
Yikes.
Look, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of pet play, but maybe don't do it while someone is junked up on toxic plants, or do it if you want. I'm not here to kink shame you.
Donald, man, this is a pretty serious moment.
I know it's serious, and I'm trying to keep things entertaining so the viewers aren't rocked at how f***ed up this mission's plot is.
You know, I'm having second guesses about bringing Miranda to meet this guy.
Miranda would smack him with a warp blast.
You'd never get out, but they did fix it. And the signal wasn't sent until now.
Bro had enough fun in his goon cave.
Does it say why he separated the men and the women? Or is it as bad as it seems?
I mean, do you even need to ask?
So Ronald Taylor was living out in his little compound alone for years, until the hunters decided to act up, or did he kill all the officers recently? What exactly is the time frame of the events?
The officers are all killed after the beacon is fixed. So by then they were already treating the crew like animals. Then, Ronald Taylor spends the next 8 to 9 years living it up in his harem until the men came back angry.
People safe, all killed within the same week, about a month after the beacon was repaired.
Okay, 9 straight years away from civilization is pretty crazy. Harem or not, that shit would get old.
He let this happen, and now it's biting him in the ass. 9 years. Why didn't he set it right? I need to find this man.
You've been stuck here for a while, Joe. Do something.
Don't pressure me. I'm trying to make my moves carefully.
All that care, and you're in the middle of making a massive mistake.
Ain't no fucking way.
Barack, how many deaths is he at right now?
4 in this episode, 14 of them overall.
Well, I can tell you right now, Joe is going to set a new record for the amount of deaths in one episode.
This is really upsetting me. I had such a good start, and then all my light went out after that goddamn glitch on Miranda's mission.
All right, Joe, that's enough being down on yourself. You need to lock the fuck in for the rest of the episode. You've been getting clapped on just the goddamn loyalty missions, and it's embarrassing. Get it in gear.
An anime pep talk isn't going to make him better at the game.
Kid Donald, I can do this.
At long last, you've reached the final area. What's the game plan?
Heavy weapon time, baby.
At least you're willing to whip out the big guns.
This is a pretty good area for them. The enemies are all grouped close together.
With any luck, the lightning will arc over and kill Ronald Taylor, too.
We should call the Normandy in to just nuke him after we evacuate the survivors.
If I had things my way, we'd have helped these guys get into Ronald Taylor's compound, let them do what needs to be done, and then immediately call the Alliance in to pick these people up. But I guess Jacob wants to meet his father face to face.
It's whatever. We've got the option to let hunters get their hands on Taylor if that's what we want.
All right, Joe, you know how to handle this, right? I'm not about to watch you die 3 more times, correct?
I'm going to hold it down next to this structure here and rotate around while I shoot the mech.
Holy hell, he's learning now. Let's see if he can execute.
I'm feeling kind of gassed up after what Barry said to me earlier.
Glad I could help.
Whose side are you on?
There are no sides here. I'm just trying to get us to progress, and if I gotta hype Joe up a little bit, I will. Relax, Donald. He's still going to get clapped on the next mission.
Gee, thanks for the vote of confidence there, buddy.
You're here.
All right, time to kill Ronald Taylor.
That's what I like to hear.
Well, Jacob can rest easy. He doesn't really have his dad's face.
I'll get you something nice when we get back to Alliance base.
Interesting, he says they'll be headed back to Alliance base when the Gernsback is a civilian ship.
All right, I give up. The continuity errors in this mission have defeated me.
Turn them wild.
I don't know if this is supposed to be a civilian operation or an Alliance one.
Waiting for a chance to signal has been hell.
Ronald Taylor would have a good career in politics the way he lies as naturally as he breathes.
Talk back like that?
Normally, I'd never let Jacob talk freely like this, but just this once, he's valid.
Doesn't matter. You're running a very questionable setup here, Captain.
I do think it's pretty funny that he thinks we're here and didn't gather any information regarding what occurred.
Ronald Taylor about dumb as hell. He forgot that there was a good period of time when the crew would have still been eating the regular food and keeping record of everything that happened.
Not to mention that a couple of the officers left audio proof of what happened here. No wonder no one respected him as captain.
We know what you did to your crew. Why let this go 10 years? Who the hell are you?
Don't talk to my crewmate like that.
We standing up for Jacob right now?
As long as his rat-ass father is on screen, absolutely.
My Jacob?
Not who you expected, Captain?
I was hoping not to have to explain this to him.
He was probably hoping to not see him again at all.
You have to understand, this isn't me. The realities of command, they change you.
All right, now I think I speak for all three of the boys when I say we've done some pretty uncool things while in office. But killing members of our own crew? Taking advantage of the ones who aren't able to defend themselves? Not even Bill was that damn horny while in office.
You.
What was that moment? I want to know that there was an actual reason.
Jacob's voice actor is popping off in this scene.
There was resistance to the plan. Mutiny. We had to take a hard line to keep order. And things settled down. As the decay set in, we made sure the crew were comfortable.
Comfortable by making them build a weird sculpture out of worship?
Happier. Ignorance is bliss, right? And they were grateful for guidance, like an instinct. Pure authority was...
Pure authority, is that what we're calling it these days?
You know, considering whose ball sack he came from, maybe Jacob didn't turn out too bad after all.
I gotta put some respect on Mama Taylor, don't know her, but Jacob turned out well somehow.
We had to establish dominance. After a while...
Establishing dominance by committing SA is actually wicked work.
You created a harem and played king? 10 years in a juvenile fantasy?
Damn, straight bars from Jacob there. I almost forgot that was a character I don't like.
Did that motherfucker just say he can't point to where it went wrong? Do you need glasses? Can you actually not see it?
Ronald Taylor is more deluded than I am. After a decade of this shit, he legitimately cannot see what he's done here is completely insane, and that he's completely cooked.
What exactly happens to this guy in the other outcomes anyway? I usually let the hunters get him.
So on Ronald Taylor's fate, there is dialogue in the files of Mass Effect 3 that went unused that provides some variations of what happened. If we let Ronald get arrested, Jacob will tell us he's rotting in an Alliance prison in Vancouver, constantly asking to see Jacob, and Jacob not hearing him out.
Hold on, isn't Vancouver where the beginning of Mass Effect 3 begins?
Yep, the city where all the Reapers start dropping down all over the place, so I think it's safe to assume Ronald didn't last too long in Mass Effect 3. If you leave him marooned, a book about what the hunters do to him is written, and becomes a bestseller and becomes a movie, Jacob comments that it was gruesome, but not hard to watch.
They give Jacob a cold line in Mass Effect 3 and didn't put it in the game?
If you force Ronald Taylor to kill himself, Jacob will admit to returning to the planet a few months later to give his father a proper burial.
What the kind of weak shit is that? Let him get eaten by the wildlife or something.
That's better than Ronald deserves.
To be totally fair, Jacob says he only did it because it's what his mother would have wanted.
Oh, fine, I guess that's valid.
I'll just think Jacob did it for Mama Taylor and not her trash-ass husband.
This planet has some strange cycles to it.
Can't say this wouldn't be a hell of a vacation.
You know, except for the whole making my friends into pets part of the equation.
You're damn right he doesn't.
All right, Jacob, if you do that, I'll never talk to you again.
But he's not even worth pulling the trigger.
So close you were almost really based.
I don't know who you are, because you're not any father I remember.
He'd already be dead if a renegade react showed up.
I'm pretty sure we can spare the ammo.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm not taking the shot.
Making Ronald do it himself is way colder than either Jacob or Shepard doing the deed.
I still think we should have killed him ourselves.
He was a different man. A good man. Half-charged. You've seen the crazy ones. This won't stop them.
It sounds like a personal problem.
Dad.
Pick your poison, Ronald.
No, don't cut to black. Let me see it happen.
Well, that's the last time we're ever going to not insult Jacob when he's on screen.
What do you mean it wasn't you?
I didn't know more than one person could use this thing.
Oddly enough, this is the only optional mission in the game where the elusive man appears at the end of it. Any other time we see him, it's before or after a plot-critical mission.
I guess making sure Ronald Taylor eats in hell is super vital to the plot.
Something you'd have your hands in.
You know very little about me, Shepard. Don't presume to understand my intentions.
I can presume that you've got a serious addiction to nicotine. Every time we see you, you're smoking.
You didn't forward it, so who did?
I did.
How big is the goddamn hologram? I swear it wasn't big enough to fit 3 people standing this far apart.
Another little funny bit about this scene here. If you do Jacob's loyalty mission after the suicide mission and Miranda happens to die on it, she'll still appear here as if nothing's changed.
I guess the folks at BioWare didn't think of that one.
Or maybe they did and just didn't care. You gotta be trying in order to get Miranda killed.
The fact that cutscene happens at all is kind of funny too. Because by the end of the suicide mission, you've canonically cut ties with Cerberus regardless of your decision on the Collector base.
The elusive man was probably very confused by the Normandy suddenly reaching out again.
You had no idea Miranda was behind this?
No, she's got a good memory. Selective, but good.
All right, I forgot Miranda and Jacob had a thing once upon a time.
Can't figure which promise she meant, though. Not sure I really want to know. She requires a better man than I.
I guess it's time for me to introduce myself.
Oh, please sit back down, lover boy.
All I'm saying is now's the time to start pursuing her.
I already made it known I want Jack.
I respect Jack's romance, but I'm telling you Miranda is better.
Well, whatever. Once I knock Donald out of the race by casually clearing the Collector vessel, I'll take care of you, Barry.
There is no goddamn way you still think you're going to handle the Collector vessel after everything that's happened so far.
Weren't you telling me earlier that I needed to believe in myself no matter what? Well, I'm taking your advice.
Thanks for diverting to the Gurns back.
I'm pretty sure Jacob doesn't have any dialogue for us anymore since we're a male shepherd.
No, hold on. I just realized something. Barry, earlier you said you'd get the resources to upgrade the ship toward the end of the game, right?
Yeah, what about it?
Did you lie to me about the ship armor a couple episodes ago?
Oh, shit.
Ain't no damn way.
Like I said, if we don't upgrade the hull...
I fucking knew something was fishy. You motherfuckers were trying to get Jack killed.
Oh, darn, my plan to get back at you has failed.
I expected such a devious ploy from Donald, but you were in on it, Barry. I'm hurt.
Well, I guess Joe got the better of us, Donald.
I didn't expect him to figure it out. Gotta admit, you surprised me, Joe.
Don't underestimate how savvy I am.
Already? I'm not big on forcing these talks, Shepard. Let's do this later.
All right, well, fuck you too then, Taylor.
Commander.
Thanks again, Shepard.
Still going to talk to Miranda on my behalf?
May as well. I know you don't actually lock the romances in here.
In time without your help.
Goddamn, you know, Miranda in the black uniform looks simply immaculate.
You're really taking advantage of the fact that Michelle isn't here.
Good for him. It's nice to see Barack lose the facade and show that he's just as horny as me.
The difference between you and I is I'm a lot more respectful when I lay my gaze upon Miranda. You, on the other hand, quite literally started barking like Maki Ma came out of Chainsaw Man and asked you personally.
You're goddamn right.
A friend.
All right, I'm ready for this fucking mission. Let's do it.
Telling yourself you're ready is a good trick, but God knows you aren't going to be able to make your dreams a reality.
You will eat those words, Donald. Just wait.
I wonder if the elusive man is smoking the same cigarette we saw after Jacob's mission, or did he finish that one and immediately pull out another?
He did say it was no risk to his health, so why not?
An addiction is an addiction, even if it doesn't have any immediate negative consequences.
Even I wasn't dumb enough to believe a random Turian vessel was able to disable that big-ass collector ship that killed the first Normandy.
The Normandy couldn't even outrun it, much less damage it. The SR-2 is a more advanced ship and still needs a Reaper-based gun to do real damage.
Indicate the hull's intact, but all systems seem to be offline. They could be making repairs as we speak. I'm not saying it won't be dangerous, but we can't let an opportunity like this slip by.
The collectors use these on Horizon.
It looks hot as hell inside that thing.
I imagine it'd be a really moist heat, like a humid summer day in the South.
You just made it sound even worse to be abducted by the collectors.
It's no wonder Kelly Chambers loses her damn mind being trapped in the ship.
I get claustrophobic just thinking about being trapped in the collector pods, like those videos of people who cave dive for some really odd reason.
Talking about some I'm doing it for the experience, well, you can experience drowning in Subnautica with the added bonus of not actually dying.
Well, here's the alternative to getting locked in the musty-ass pods. You get crumbled up into a human trash ball.
Leave a pile of bodies lying around.
Test subjects.
Thane's mask is kind of cool. I wish we could make him wear it whenever we want.
They're dead. Nothing we can do. Keep moving. Edie, I'm uploading the data from this terminal. See if you can figure out what they were up to.
The reveal that the collectors were Protheans is low-key kind of underrated.
With how disconnected like 80% of the game is from the trilogy's overall plot, this was a pretty big reveal. Too bad the collectors don't survive beyond Mass Effect 2.
It was also kind of disappointed to realize that the collector ship we're on is actually the only ship they have.
Once again, this is an area where the modders came clutch. In the expanded Galaxy mod, you'll be able to return to the remnants of the collector station. I also recall there being a short little text-based assignment where you run into some leftover collectors that regain their senses, and you're tasked with either killing them or recruiting them.
Are we going to play 3 with the expanded galaxy mod or not?
I've been seeing some buzz for it in the comments.
I'll probably make it happen. The expanded galaxy mod adds a lot into the game, even if it's mostly cosmetic, and I think it could be fun to introduce it to people who haven't played it, especially console-only players.
Wait, aren't we going to get another weapon here?
Yes, we're going to get advanced weapon training after this cutscene.
Thank God we can get our hands on a real fucking gun again, shotguns, baby.
Hold on there, buddy. I'm the one choosing. I decide if we're doing shotguns or not.
Don't mess with me, Joe. We started on shotguns. We should end on them.
Maybe I'll just pick sniper rifles to spite you.
I don't really care what we pick. Personally, I can make anything work, but Joe picking sniper rifles, given what you have coming up next, would be really stupid.
Okay, well then what should I pick?
Shotguns, probably. Assault rifles are good. We'll get access to the Molock, but the Sentinel's tankiness pairs well with the close-range nature of shotgun. Plus, we'll be able to use the Geth plasma shotgun, which is easily one of the best weapons in the game.
Okay, I guess I'll pick shotguns.
That's what I like to hear. My only regret is that we can't get the Claymore, the truly peak gun.
Yeah, it's too bad that the Widow, Revenant, and Claymore are precluded from half the classes in the game.
I'll give Mass Effect 1 and 3 that much. They let you use any gun on any class.
I don't care what's available. I'm locking the Claymore as soon as I can, and only that. Gonna have the most fire Vanguard run ever.
I don't know why you're talking like a Vanguard run is guaranteed.
You have 14 deaths, 4 of which were earned in this episode, and you're about to wander into one of the toughest sections in the entire trilogy. The bet is done. I can tell you with 100% certainty that we're not playing Sentinel.
I gotta agree with Donald on this one. This is basically the last skill check for a while. It's smooth sailing from here until we get to the Dead Reaper mission.
Well, we'll just see about that.
The same ship dogging me for 2 years? Way beyond coincidence.
All right, you two give me some space. I'm locked in.
We could give you the entire universe of space and you still wouldn't be able to clear this.
Well, if there's any bright side to this, Joe did pick 2 of the best squad mates for this situation. I'd say it's impossible to fuck up. But I know better than to believe that after the past 2 missions' events.
Is he not going to talk back?
Joe, you awake in there? I think we should just leave him alone for now. This is probably going to take him a while. How's Shadow of the Erd Tree treating you, Donald? Spoiler alert for Shadow of the Erd Tree, by the way.
That bitch Rilana is harder than Melania, I swear to God.
Yeah, I went back to the Haleg Tree to fight her, and Malenia is light work compared to some of these DLC bosses. Rilana, Mesmer, and the Promised Consort are some motherfuckers.
Wait, did you already beat the Promised Consort?
Hell no, Miyazaki was on crack when he made that motherfucker. I'm pretty sure I can do it. I just need to go collect the rest of my tree fragments.
I've been trying to fight Bale for the past couple days. That dude has the most aura in Elden Ring. Placidusax has been dethroned for the best dragon fight in Elden Ring.
Are you using the Dragon Hunter katana? That and Egon make the fight pretty easy.
I might just give in to the gimmick and use the weapon art, and I've been fighting him solo.
I know how you are about summons and shit, but I think you should make allowances for Egon. Bro is cold as hell and has some of the best lines in the game.
I guess I'll bring him in next time, but I gotta say, FromSoft must have seen all the people making fights free with the summons, because the bosses are on your ass the instant you go through the fog door.
That, and the enemy AI doesn't even look at the summon half the time they're being attacked. I swear Bale was charging up an attack for Egon, and then he switched it up mid-swing and started chomping on me. Never mind the fact that Egon's summoning stone is inside the boss arena, so you have to avoid Bale breathing fire or just straight body slamming you before you can bring Egon into the fight. And then he starts yapping for 2 minutes.
Also, let me add here that Miyazaki is an even bigger liar than I am. That dude said the DLC was about as big as Limgrave. That was straight bullshit.
He definitely undersold the DLC. Not just the volume, but the actual size of the map.
Yeah, when he said Limgrave, he was including Caelid and Liurnia in that too.
Speaking of Caelid, I am no longer afraid of that place. It's a calm walk in the park compared to the Realm of Shadow.
Also, I cannot fucking believe that after 2 straight years that dude Mog beat the PDF file allegations.
Mog being the victim was not on my bingo card for 2024. I owe the man an apology. I've been slandering him.
Oh, I stopped paying attention. How many times has Joe died so far?
I've died 0 times.
Stop lying, Joe. How many times did you die?
Donald, I was keeping my eye on the gameplay while we talked. Joe hasn't died yet.
Also, Thane has disappeared for some reason. I haven't been able to use his abilities.
84%? No fucking way. What is happening here?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but you might want to start sweating, Donald.
Nah, there's no way Joe Biden always fails at the finish line. He'll f up in the end sooner or later.
Is that what you were telling yourself back in 2020, Donald?
This literally cannot be right. He had one solid moment at the start of the episode, got mental boomed by a glitch, and that had him f***ed up for the following mission. This doesn't make any sense. He had to have taken something while we weren't looking.
Sounds like you're coping, Donald.
Nah, this actually makes complete sense. The regular collector units aren't that big a deal. It's Harbinger that's the problem. But since Joe brought Kasumi, he can make Harbinger totally impotent with Flashbang Grenade. What is making this really impressive is that Thane apparently dropped off the map somewhere and Joe isn't suffering from his absence.
It's almost over.
Okay, it's time for you to sell. This Scion is going to kill you.
I will be flabbergasted if Joe somehow f***s this up.
Man, you guys oversold this.
It's not over yet. You'll fumble. I know you will.
Donald, you're starting to sound kind of desperate here.
He knows that once I pass this, I'm pretty much clear. The rest of the mission is far easier, right?
It is easier, but don't let your guard down. I'd hate to see you fail after this surprising performance.
If there is a God, he will strike you down this very moment.
It's not going to happen, Donald. This is it. Joe got through this section of the collector vessel without dying.
This is a literal nightmare.
Going silent. Am I invisible or something?
Oh my fucking God, I actually did do it in one try.
Why do you sound surprised about that, Joe?
I was waiting for something to go wrong. A random glitch that makes me reload some shit with the Scion. I thought fate would stop me, but holy hell, I actually did it.
I told you to lock in and you did it. Good fucking job.
This is not over. We got a whole lot of mission to go and plenty of time for Joe to die. He simply got lucky here, that's all.
You're going to overdose on all that cope, Donald. Be careful.
I've regained control of the platform, Shepard.
I knew you wouldn't let us down, Edie.
I always work at optimal capacity.
Thank God for Edie's processing power.
Time for us to find out your boy, the elusive man, sent us into a trap, Donald.
He was valid. It was all in the name of getting us the identify friend foe.
If Miranda were present for this mission, she'll naturally deny that the elusive man betrayed us, stating that there must be an explanation for why he sent us into the lion's den.
What are you getting at?
Turian emergency channels have secondary encryption. It is present, but corrupted in the message.
If only we'd asked Garrus about this before coming all the way out here, he could have told us something was wrong.
Why are you so sure?
I found the anomaly with Cerberus detection protocols. He wrote them.
He knew it was a trap? Why would he send us into a trap?
You gotta understand, it's all a part of the Keikaku.
Translator note, Keikaku means plan.
That's my girl, Kasumi.
Got another problem. The collector ship is powering up. You need to get out of there before their weapons come online. I'm not losing another Normandy.
Hey, Joker Man, I let it slide the first time, but if you prioritize the ship over Bard and Joe Shepard a second time, we're going to have a problem.
It does low-key sound like Joker cares more about the Normandy.
All right, eyes on me. Let me show you that the last round of events weren't a fluke.
I will be waiting patiently for you to die.
You know what, Donald? I'm glad you suggested shotguns after all. This is literally free as hell.
I told you, the Geth Plasma Shoddy is a great weapon. I don't even think we need the Locust anymore.
The shotgun isn't carrying him. It's that goddamn kleptomaniac over there and her shiny little flashbang.
Damn straight, I always knew Kasumi was #1.
It's like the opposite of Jack. In lore, Kasumi isn't even really a fighter, just a thief, but in gameplay, she has one of the most useful abilities in the game.
Yes, come on, die.
Not this time, little man.
All right, Joe, I'm actually rooting for you here. Keep it moving.
This guy has to be the most inconsistent video game player to ever exist. 1 second he'll do decent, then he'll get absolutely f***ed on. Then all of a sudden he can tackle one of the toughest missions in the game.
Mass Effect 2 is my game, damn it. I will come out on top here, mark my words.
Gotta say, things would not be looking this good if we were on Vanguard instead. Sentinel survivability cannot be beat. And now that we have shotguns, we have the damage output necessary to take on any challenge. Even Joe is going to level up from this.
Man, what is this easy mode ass class?
And now he's coping about the class we're playing. This ain't Elden Ring, bro. Picking Sentinel isn't the same thing as spamming Comet Azure.
The Geth Plasma shotgun literally has a tracking mechanic.
You were the one that wanted us to pick shotguns. Don't get too brave there, Joe.
Don't worry, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Stop fucking teasing me.
I just want you to get a taste of victory before I snatch it away from you.
Go ahead, keep that up. It'll come back to bite you.
The only one having something come back to bite them is you for taking the bet on me not dying this mission. Say goodbye to romancing Liara.
This newfound confidence of yours needs to be squashed like your brain is on literally any other day of the week. You had to be at your sharpest at this moment?
Not gonna lie. I haven't seen Joe perform like this since 2010. This is a generational comeback we're seeing right now.
The glazing coming out of your mouth right now is totally criminal. You need to be stopped.
Hey man, I give people the props they deserve when they earn them. Joe had me totally disappointed earlier, but he's showing out when it counts most. Even you have to admit this is good work being done.
I don't have to admit anything of the sort until this guy passes a drug test, because no goddamn way is he not jumped up on something right now.
The classic, you know, Donald, I think you're projecting a little bit. Maybe you're the one on drugs.
That's between me and my doctor.
Here they come.
This is the final stretch, do or die time for your little bet, fellas.
I've been kind of focused on the combat, but I wanted to mention how peaked this mission is in its atmosphere.
It is a crime that we only encounter the collectors on 3 missions in this entire goddamn game.
What's wrong? Tired of fighting the same token mercenary members and their mechs on every mission in a factory or warehouse environment?
Not right now, but I imagine it's going to get kind of old when we have nothing but loyalty missions to do next few episodes.
Yeah, on that, now's a good time to let the viewers know how the program is going to go now that we've gotten halfway more or less. Next 2 episodes, Donald and I will take on 3 loyalty missions each, and then Joe will start us off with the DLC missions. After all 3 of those are done, we'll have 3 loyalty missions, the Dead Reaper, and the suicide mission remaining.
I spy with my little eye Sleepy Joe making a mistake.
Nope, my risk there was estimated. I knew I was safe.
Joe, I really hope you can keep this up the next time you play. It'll make the competition for lowest death more interesting.
I'll do my best.
Well, personally, I hope you start having a massive lapse right now.
I'll do my best to disappoint you, Donald.
Damn Thane is putting in some work too.
I should hope so after he disappeared in the middle of the platform section.
Donald, I believe that's the last of the combat right there.
This cannot be happening. This is the worst day of my life.
The worst day of your life is me being decent at a video game.
If this is the worst day of your life, then you've had things pretty good until now.
It's not that bad, Donald. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. This is one of your L days.
Come on, man, just fall over already.
Not gonna happen.
Damn Kasumi is laughing at your misfortune too.
Okay, Harbinger, now's the time to prove you're not a bigger fraud than Sovereign and Kill Joe.
Bro is asking the enemy for help now. You've fallen so far.
You know, I sometimes forget the collectors have wings. Kind of odd that they don't use them more in the middle of combat to reposition.
Jesus, Barry, I'm glad you didn't design the games. You would have had Harbinger flying around throwing his warp blasts at us.
I know you feel this is an insane thing to have in your lineup of combat dialogue.
The collector over there in the back is hacking.
He got the same hacks that Garrus had in episode 3.
If you did hack, you get the high ground, but you're totally exposed.
As you wish.
The Scion shockwave is so goddamn annoying.
Well, so much for your hero Harbinger, Donald. We can go ahead and call this one done and over with.
Not yet. The CI has me. I know it does. Come on, kill him.
Joe, you are walking on thin ice, brother.
Just adding a little bit of tension for the folks at home, that's all.
Nah, man, I saw your hands start shaking. You were f***ing up.
Okay, I'll admit I was a little scared there. Bro through the wall?
Go step out and run the ones with the Scion.
Don't listen to him, Joe. Just stay patient. And that just about does it.
No, not yet. I remember there being a horde of husks. They'll box Joe in.
Okay, this is actually starting to sound kind of sad.
Betting on the husks on any mission that isn't the Dead Reaper is completely delusional.
Just wait, I'm telling you there will be a historic fumbling here. It's only a matter of time.
You were saying?
Smart move using the flashbang.
Well, it's over.
Good f***ing job, Joe. Holy shit.
Well, Donald, a deal's a deal.
You heard the man. Everybody onto the Normandy. Move!
Donald, are you good?
I think he broke.
Can't say I blame him. He just witnessed the planets align. Even I'm surprised by this turn of events.
Strap in, people! I'm gonna make him work for it this time.
Time to give the elusive man a piece of our mind for sending us into a trap.
The decision to do that never really made any sense to me.
Narratively, I suppose it's meant to be our first hint that the elusive man isn't trustworthy, as if him being the leader of Cerberus didn't already clearly indicate that. But it kind of falls flat because there wasn't really any reason he couldn't just tell us the deal. We'd have gone on the collector ship anyway.
I like the symbolism there with the sun in the background. There was more focus on the red parts to show the elusive man was being pretty renegade.
Well, don't worry, we'll spin back for this when we take the Normandy, a top Cerberus officer, and start killing all of the elusive man's guys.
I know the stakes, but we're supposed to be on the same side, and I can't trust you.
To be fair, we haven't trusted him from the moment we joined. All this did was strengthen our case against him.
And you and every other human may as well be dead. It was a trap. But I was confident in your abilities. And don't forget Edie. The collectors couldn't have anticipated her.
All I'm gonna say is, if we were like 2 minutes late, we would have been trapped on the ship.
You say I'm important, but you sure try hard to get me killed.
I needed the collectors to believe they had the upper hand. Telling you could have tipped them off in any number of ways.
Okay, go on then. How exactly could telling us have tipped him off?
The elusive man legit didn't have a reason and said, just trust me, bro, it had to be this way.
Information. If I can't trust your intel, you're useless to me.
It's never that simple.
The only reason we're still here is because you have info the Alliance and the Council don't. Sounds pretty simple to me.
And with you.
This is no time for petty grudges. Things are about to get a lot tougher.
You're getting to sit in your weird little chair, smoking cigarettes and sipping on bourbon. We're the ones doing the hard work.
Damn, it's nice getting to talk shit about the elusive man without a certain someone making excuses for him.
I don't think I've ever seen the guy be this quiet for this long.
Donald, bro, you can speak, you know, it's not a big deal, so Joe cleared the collector mission, it is what it is.
Why didn't you say anything about finding their IFF?
As I said, Edie just confirmed it.
I am very aggravated right now.
Hey, there he is.
I mean, if it's any consolation for you, Donald, it's not like Joe had a good episode. Dude still died 4 times, you're in the lead. At least until next episode.
I wouldn't have died at all if that glitch didn't throw me off my game.
You did good, Joe, and I'm proud of you because of it, but come on, you could have handled that better.
The fact that he died 4 times, 2 of which were on the first combat of Jacob's loyalty mission, is the only thing keeping me from going completely insane. I know he's still as bad as ever. He just had a good little moment.
Flight path of the intended target, a 37-million-year-old derelict Reaper. We found it damaged and trapped in the gravity of a brown dwarf.
Okay, now that we have all this information and the location of the Reaper IFF, why don't we send that information over to the Alliance and have them help us on this mission?
It's a decent idea, Joe, if not for the fact that the Normandy SR-2 is basically the only ship in the galaxy that could get through the Omega-4 relay. Remember, even with the IFF, we had to have the best armor, shielding, and gun to get through without losing large portions of our crew.
I saw what Sovereign did to the Citadel fleet. Hard to imagine anything could stop something that powerful.
It's kind of crazy that there's just some unknown species that took down a Reaper.
Mammals made their first appearance over 225 million years ago. So either the Reaper is way older than the elusive man implies, or he's exaggerating for theatrics.
I only believe you because I doubt you'd repeat yourself so soon.
Pretty funny line.
He may not have intended it to be a trap, but the Dead Reaper mission sure as hell feels like a trap with how terrible it is as an assignment.
On that we can definitely agree.
I don't know why you two are complaining about it. I'm the one who has to play it.
That IFF. I'll forward the coordinates to Joker. In the meantime, I suggest you tell your crew I didn't risk their lives unnecessarily. It will make things easier going forward.
Edie. Tell the crew to assemble. We've got a lot to talk about.
Of course, Shepard.
So the elusive man didn't sell us out.
And of course, by the crew, Shepard meant the usual suspects, Miranda, Jacob, and Morden.
The only squad mates you're guaranteed to have by the end of the collector ship.
Wait, surely you'd have Garrus, Grunt, and Jack?
Not necessarily. You don't have to ever wake Grunt out of his pod. You do need to have Garrus and Jack, so they could have been in this cutscene. I guess they just didn't want to add them.
Accurate, Shepard. I have also determined the approximate location of the collector homeworld, based on navigational data from their vessel.
I guess it's a journey to the center of the galaxy.
That can't be right.
Don't doubt my girl, Edie.
Edie doesn't make mistakes. The collector homeworld is located somewhere in the galactic core.
Can't be. The core is just black holes and exploding suns.
For once, Jacob is right. The center of the galaxy houses a supermassive black hole called Sagittarius A, and hundreds of thousands of stars surround it.
Sounds like a nice place for a summer vacation.
With how hot it's been recently, it sure as hell feels like there are thousands of suns surrounding us right now.
I guess if a dead Reaper can survive near a brown dwarf for eons, it's not too crazy that the collectors live at the galactic core.
Who's to say they can't build a space station surrounded by black holes? No wonder nobody's ever returned from a trip through the Omega-4 mass relay.
That must have been a surprise for all those poor vessels. You go through a relay and boom straight into a black hole or a bunch of suns.
Standard relay transit protocols would not allow safe transport. Drift of several thousand kilometers is common. and would be fatal in the galactic core. The Reaper IFF must trigger the relay to use more advanced encrypted protocols.
I mean, we can go get the IFF now. Some people might die,
Just because
though.
we can follow the collectors through the relay doesn't mean we can take them out. I don't want to go after them until I know we're ready.
Sooner or later, we need that IFF. I say, why wait?
And here's one reason why some people don't like Jacob. He literally gives you the wrong advice. Here he tells us we shouldn't wait, but if we go right now, we're either going to go in with a crew that is mostly unloyal, or we're going to have to sacrifice everyone besides Dr. Chakwas.
So basically, don't listen to this moron.
Whatever you decide, we're with you.
Jacob only wants to go now because we solved his family problems. He doesn't care about the rest of the crew. Well, that's the end of the heroic tales of Joe Biden. Time for me to go get some rest later. Oh, and hold this, L-doubters.
Barack, what in the fuck was that?
Relax, our plans are completely unchanged.
But now I have to exit the romance competition.
Yes, and that sucks for you, but I was never helping you there anyway. I was only helping you get revenge on Joe, and you can do that without pursuing Liara.
I guess that's true. I'll put it in play next time.
Good, all right, you all know the drill. Stay safe out there, drink plenty of water, get some sleep, and we'll see you on the next one.